boom, look, there we are.
We got the right one.
I know. And are using two different cameras today and a monitor, and then I forgot which one was which on my little board. And I'm like, I wonder if you guys can hear us too. We tested it earlier, but then I screwed things up. So who knows if you guys are actually hearing us. If you're watching this right now and you're not hearing anything, could you let us know so that we can fix it?
That would be nice.
Thanks. Okay. So here we are on a Sunday, and I'm enjoying coffee. We're coming to you live, by the way, from Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Lovely. Kalamazoo.
And on her way in today brought me a mocha from Water Street Coffee, which I believe is the best coffee place in Kalamazoo. I don't know though, because Five Lakes Coffee just opened a place here too. I'm a big fan of Five Lakes Coffee. Ooh, Lori is with us and she hears us. Yay, I'm gonna type Lori a response to you. Thanks, Lori. Thanks, Lori.
Yes.
Exclamation point. Hey, Lori, 5 days. 6 days? 5 days. Lori's coming for a visit. I know. In fact, you'll probably see us next weekend because we're probably coming to Chelsea.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. I have only one appointment scheduled right now on Saturday, and I'm going to take the rest of the day off.
Excellent. Then we can go do dumb stuff. Yes, 5 days. So, Lori, plan on going to beautiful Chelsea, Michigan.
Chelsea, Michigan, the home of Jiffy Mix.
Jiffy corn muffins.
Cornbread.
Corn muffins. I know. It's, okay, here's the thing about Jiffy corn mix. It really is good.
It really is.
It is.
It's cheap. It's good.
When you put some cheddar cheese and some green chilies in it and make green chili corn muffins, it's good.
Why make it yourself?
I know. A, it's like 50 cents, and B, it's like 50 cents.
It's cheaper than food, people.
It is, right on. So anyway, Joe noticed something the other day. Joe's my husband, for those of you that don't know us. He noticed that there was a new movie coming out with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot called Red Notice. And so, yeah, we watched it. And now we haven't done a movie review in ages. And so we decided that we would, because who doesn't like a good action movie? And this one, of course, is an action movie with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot. So anyway, here it is, long awaited for our review. I know many of you, in fact, shout out real quick to my brother-in-law, Jim, who had shoulder surgery this week and apparently was looking forward to this review. So we're going to get to why, Jim, you should watch this movie in a minute. But first, our amazing review of Red Notice. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead. Ooh, a couple of things. A, I'm going to get our brand off the back here so that you can more easily see. And I have to admit, there's a couple of different movies that we're totes going to review. This one, and then as we move forward, we're going to review when we can find it, is Julia Child's documentary. We're totally going to talk about that. Yeah. All right. That looks like I think so too. All right. So here it is. Yeah, it's going to be the best part. There it is, you guys. Red Notice. New movie. Now, the fun thing about this movie, and this is sort of a thing now, is that it gets released in theaters, and then after a while, it gets released on the internet. So this one was released a couple of weeks ago, and then it was. Oh, look at that! Stuff keeps popping up on my computer. Sorry. And then it was released on the Netflix on Friday. So, and I'll talk about why that's a good thing in just a minute. But anyway, so we waited and we watched it on this weekend. Joe and I watched it. We made a whole date night out of it on Friday, and Ann watched it Friday and then into Saturday. So for those of you that don't know what this movie is all about, let's get to it. Here we go. Ann, would you like to start us off?
Well, it's Red Notice. It came out this year. Who's the director? I can't remember. He's got like 3 first names.
Yeah.
I think he also
Marshall, Reynolds, Marshall. Something. Yeah.
I think he also directed Dodgeball.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
Good. Quite a resume.
Quite. Anyway, so it stars Gal Gadot, and if you are not familiar with the name, she's Wonder Woman. So there you go.
She's smoking hot.
Smoking hot. Then of course Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne Johnson, formerly The Rock. So it's got a very attractive cast.
But because he's respectable now. It's Dwayne Johnson.
Exactly. So.
The Rock was his wrestling name.
Right.
But now he's a legitimate star.
Legit.
Of movies.
So there you go. So it's an action movie with a action-packed cast.
Yes.
So what is the Red Notice about? Well, short answer, it's a heist treasure hunt movie. Long answer, it's 158 minutes. And if you can make it all the way through, then you'll know what it's about.
Actually, it was 108 minutes or 118 minutes, Ann, but it felt like 158 minutes.
Oh my gosh, I thought it was
and quick fun fact, Red Notice is apparently the highest level of most wanted if you're an international criminal from Interpol. So that's, I know. I don't remember. I think Joe, that was a fun fact that Joe looked up while we were watching.
Oh, because I don't think they even, maybe they did.
I don't know.
I don't.
At the end, they like red notice, like they stamped them. But anyway, we looked that up.
On red paper. It was on red paper.
It was on red paper.
I do
red notice.
That. Yeah.
So, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
So,
anyway.
Cannot be ignored.
Yes.
Why did I like this movie? I liked this movie. I thought the first 10 minutes were hysterical. And yeah, if they had gone another 808 minutes like that, it would have been an awesome movie, but they didn't. Another reason why I liked this movie, as I've already mentioned, everybody is very attractive.
Very attractive.
Hard to look away from how attractive they are.
Yeah.
There's a scene at the end with Ed Sheeran in it, and that's kind of funny. I thought that was amusing. Duncan didn't think it was amusing as I did, but I thought it was kind of
I like, okay. I think his music is okay. I don't really get it. I don't really get the phenomenon. But the dude has a sense of humor about himself.
Totally, and I thought that little scene there, I thought that was funny. Another thing I liked about this movie is that it reconfirms that Nazis are the worst.
Yes, they are.
So,
and this movie yet again lets us know that they are in fact the worst. Okay, good.
Jenny, why did you like this movie?
Well, again, I, like my sister, really liked the first 10 minutes. In fact, I thought, gosh, this is going to be a really great movie. My gosh, I love this so much. It was funny. It was clever. I'm like, maybe this isn't going to be like all of the other action movies. And then minute 11 came.
And it was the same after that.
So, okay, what I really liked about this movie is that I had to put 0% effort into watching this movie. So, Jim, this is the part that's for you. As somebody who just had a shoulder replacement and who's probably having some time with some painkillers right now, the good news is it won't matter how many painkillers you're on. You will be able to follow this movie. In fact, you'll probably like it more. In fact, I regret not being on painkillers or weed while watching this movie a little bit.
Oh, me too.
But I did have an old fashioned. So anyway, yeah, it's a really great movie on a Friday after you're really tired. It's a great Friday evening movie when you just want to turn your brain off and go. Yeah. So there's a lot of that.
Yeah. There's a ton of that. Oh my God, I love her boots. That's her thing.
I know so much. She looked great.
I
know. And I loved Ryan Reynolds' house in Bali before he got arrested.
Oh my God.
Oh, what a great house. I know. It's so great. Okay. I like the fact that this movie was on Netflix, so I did not have to go to a movie theater to see it. Because I've turned into an old person somewhere along the way, and I do not enjoy going to the movies because everybody's on their phone and they're rude and they're stupid, and I hate them. Even though you could go to a movie theater where they have the reclining seats at a bar, it's still not enough. It's not enough to get me. And with COVID and bed bugs, gross!
You know where you have to go is the Michigan Theater in Ann Arbor.
Okay.
All people there will be the youngest people there.
I like that.
And nobody's on their phone.
Love
because
that.
They all left their jitterbugs in the car. And I'm sorry, that was, I don't know.
I don't know.
It was funny. Anyway, that's a good place to see movies. That's where I like to see movies now, even though the chairs are terribly uncomfortable because they were made in the 30s.
Yes.
It's still a great place to see it.
Agreed.
Okay.
I enjoyed popcorn in an old fashioned at home while watching this movie, which I really enjoyed. I pretty much forgot about this movie as I was watching it. So there's like no trauma. Cause like, you watch some movies and you're traumatized for days, months, years later. You're still thinking about the terrible things in that movie. Okay. The part where the daughter at the end with the daughter could give a shit about the priceless eggs and she just loses her mind when she sees Ed Sheeran. I thought that was genuinely funny because there's like all of this guy goes through all of this trouble to get these Cleopatra's eggs for his daughter Cleopatra. And she's like, oh, yay. And then she sees Ed Sheeran. She's like, ah, she just runs away from the eggs and runs right to Ed Sheeran. I'm like, that was amazing.
That was
because that's exactly what kids do. It's like you go through all this trouble of getting them this amazing gift and then they see something that's totally like,
or they play with the box.
They box, they're like, oh, this refrigerator box is the greatest. I'm like, that was one of those moments, and I'm like, wow, that's a total
genuinely funny
parent moment right there. And yeah, I love that. Yeah. Okay, so this is what is wrong with Red Notice, and as you can see, the list is it's a lot.
It's a lot.
So, and I think you had the first 8, and I had 9 through 14.
Okay.
So why don't you go ahead?
Okay, so what I thought was wrong with this movie, number one, it was predictable, and not in a good way. I mean, I was literally 10 minutes ahead of the movie, which probably would have helped if I had had a little lubricant. I probably wouldn't have been so ahead, but I was like, oh, and I kept telling Duncan, this is what's going to happen next. This is going to happen next. I mean, it was that predictable. Ryan Reynolds is funny, but he's only funny for about 87 minutes. Which is about how long a Deadpool movie is. So after that, he's just like, oh gosh, he's just that kid you had in when he was a 7th grader, and you're like,
he thinks that everything out of his mouth is funny.
Exactly. Yep. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to just go somewhere else. Anyway, so number 3, the movie steals from many better and many worse movies. And we will talk more about that later.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was one of the things. I was like, oh, hey, look, there's this movie. There's this movie. There's this. Oh, here's these 2 movies at the same time. Number 4, Dwayne Johnson should never wear a turtleneck sweater. When you have the muscular appendages that he has in his neck, you shouldn't put a turtleneck around. You need to accentuate. It's kind of like, if you have a short neck, you don't wear long earrings. If you have a short neck, you don't wear a turtleneck because it kind of makes you, and then he doesn't have any hair, so it makes you look like a talking dildo. So I don't know who made that costume choice, but it was poor. Oh, here's another thing that I found extremely irritating through the whole movie. Gold is very soft. And so when your treasure, a big gold egg,
18-karat gold egg,
gets thrown all over the place, it's going to be a big dented mess when it's done. And I just, again, maybe if I'd had, a little lubricant, I wouldn't have been quite so picky about, come on, you keep dropping that thing. It's just, oh, what a mess.
See, and that's why you don't get a 14 or an 18-karat gold wedding ring. That's why they usually just make most karat gold in a wedding ring is going to be about 14. Even then, you're risking 10 carats better because it can take.
It's right. Yeah, exactly. And supposedly you're going to be married for 50 years, so you want it to last. Anyway, the next thing I had a problem with was big gold egg. Really? Big gold egg. That's your treasure, is a big gold egg. Kept expecting Big Bird to come around and start warming those things up. Anyway, next, don't get me started on the buddy dialogue. And this movie was 40 minutes too heavy on buddy dialogue. I don't know. Oh, it was exhausting. Here's my next problem with this movie. Nazi bulletproof limo, bullfight interrogations, Interpol is in to the rescue, Argentina Disney World jungle, etc.
Which leads me to mine. This movie had every cliche ever. And for $200 million, which was the budget of this movie, you'd think that they would have better special effects. Everything, like I said, everything was terrible. It's like the cheesy Disneyland Argentinian jungle set, the computer-generated bull in the bullfight, the obvious green screen moments in the Russian prison, in the helicopter, it's just like, oh my God. I'm like, could you please at least not make, I'm like, literally for $200 million, you could make this movie look less shitty. Because it looked shitty. Yeah. It looked bad. And I'm like, this is embarrassing. This is like first Hunger Games bad in terms of special effects. Okay. Sorry, that's still a sore spot with me, as you can see. Okay. At the end, so here we have our master criminals, and they take their entire $300 million load and throw it into one Cayman account. I'm like, no self-respecting big-time criminals are ever going to put all of their eggs in one basket.
I don't have all my eggs in one basket.
I don't either. And I'm not even a master criminal.
I'm not even a millionaire. So
okay, and the best part too is at the end when he's like looking at his phone, it says 0. I'm pretty sure it said big Cayman account or something like that. It was something so stupid. I'm like, no. Do we want a sequel that badly?
And honestly, the place to put your money right now, I believe, is South Dakota.
Yeah, I know. What? South Dakota. I know. I read that a couple of weeks ago on NPR. I'm like, who'd have thought? South Dakota is the place for master criminals or Jeff Bezos put their money.
Exactly. So obviously, master criminals.
No.
Anyway, so.
Okay, that was another thing that was wrong with this movie is that they are absolutely angling for a sequel.
No, absolutely not.
Because the thing is, Anne, we're going to have to watch the sequel.
I know.
The cliche of incompetent Europeans. There were just literally incompetent Europeans everywhere. And that leads me to my last one, was just the overall xenophobia of this movie, of just like, bumbling Italian policemen, bumbling Russian prison guards, bumbling short criminal. I'm just like, only Americans can be smart? Everybody else is a bumbling idiot?
And the thing is, the Americans weren't that smart. They just made all the other characters really dumb.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, there was a lot. As you could see how short the tiny, I mean, did you have a list of things that were, yeah, you did. So, I mean, there's a lot. You have to drink a lot.
I had 2 old fashions during this movie. Joe might have had more.
Duncan went to do the dishes in this movie and refused to watch the end of it. And then when he was done with the dishes, like, how did it end? I'm like, I'm not telling you. Well, you have to go back and watch it.
And again, it's just one of those movies, and I knew it before I watched it. Like, this is Well, no, because like I said, that first 10 minutes, it looked like it was going to be something different. And in the end, it just turned into a really lazy movie. It was lazy.
Yeah, no, the first 10 minutes were really...
Yeah, and you could see how lazy it was when you look at this next list, which was movies that Red Notice steals from. And look at this list, you guys. It's like 20 different movies.
I'm like, this director, who's also the writer, saw all the movies.
And that's the part that really started to bother me after a while. So I'm like, I would just sit there. I'm like, oh, look, it's The Bourne Identity. So anyway, Anne, would you like to go through some of the better movies to watch instead of Red Notice? Because literally it stole from all of these movies.
It did. Okay, so Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Oceans 11, 12, 13, and 8. And 12 and 13 I would have probably put on the other list. So
and 8 definitely should have gone on the other list. They were both better.
Yeah, but they were all better. The Italian Job. This could have also gone on the less good movies. It depends on your mood. If you're really into like all the other characters other than Mark Wahlberg's character, it's a pretty decent, entertaining movie. If you get stuck on Mark Wahlberg, you're like, oh, this is the worst movie ever. But actually not as bad as Red Notice. The French Connection. This is an older film. I believe it was made in the early 70s. It's got some car chases in it that will, that set the standard for car chases even now. The Mummy, treasure hunting movie that really captures the humor much better than Red Notice did. Three Kings. Now, this is like one of the few Mark Wahlberg movies where he doesn't have a Southie accent that I think he did a really good job. That is a great movie. It has a little bit of humor, this really dry, sort of kind of dark humor. It is, if you have not seen this film, of everything on the list, you should definitely see it.
Three Kings is a great movie. It is.
The Goonies. Sometimes it's a little, you're like, I could tell that was made in the 80s, but it holds up better than Romancing the Stone, which is on the other list. The Thomas Crown Affair, the one with Pierce Brosnan and Rene Russo, that was, talk about some sex.
That whole scene, museum scene at the beginning of the movie, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the Thomas Crown Affair.
Exactly. I kept expecting them to have like a Cinderman with Nina Simone playing in the background. The Rock. Which is actually,
as far as Michael Bay's movies go, that's my favorite Michael Bay movie.
That's my favorite Michael Bay movie as well. And I'm not, but sometimes you're just in the mood for that. Yeah. National Treasure. I have this on the other side, but Jenny put it on this side.
Well, I put the National Treasure on the side. All the sequels go on the other side. I've actually found the first one to be fairly entertaining.
Okay.
So, and again, the comic relief in that movie was so much better than the comic relief in this movie.
Yeah.
So,
okay. I agree with you there. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
It was the egg thing.
Oh, the egg
the big,
thing.
That's what I'm like, when they had the giant, because it looked exactly like the egg from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I'm like, oh my gosh, they just used the same egg. Nice.
Well, at least they saved money there.
Totally.
Of course, the Bourne Identity. Every fight, every single move was Bourne Identity. Every single move. And of course, The Score.
Which is a really great heist movie. Like, that's with Edward Norton and Robert De Niro. Just a really clever, that's a good movie. Movies that are as bad as Red Notice, view at your own discretion, and that's going to be Temple of Doom and the Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. I did not bother with that movie. Anne did.
So terrible.
Yeah, Sahara, Matthew McConaughey.
Ugh, so terrible.
Yeah. Anne did not care for the National Treasure films as much as I did. Again, The Rock, depending on what you like, and Romancing the Stone, which you're right, that movie has aged poorly.
Terribly. But there's a ton in it that reminds, it's the next, Red Notice is kind of like it's what happens when you have 40 years later and you realize that women can do more than just scream. So
that's all Kathleen Turner did in that movie.
That's all she did. Yeah. That's all she could do.
Yeah, because she wasn't allowed to because she's a woman.
Exactly. Yeah. So Red Notice does do a better job of that than Romancing the Stone, but I'm just saying that they borrowed a ton of stuff from Romancing the Stone. Yeah. Which borrowed a ton of stuff from Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah.
This movie, so Red Notice, in a nutshell, Red Notice is a movie that's been done before a lot and much better. And I guess that's the part that bothered me. So I'm like, this is a really lazy movie. Why can't you give me something? I mean, at one point I just turned to Joe and I'm like, I told him what was going to happen because I knew it was going to happen because it was so obvious because and Joe did it a couple times. Like, well, that's going to be important later. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Everything. The handcuffs. Oh, are the handcuffs going to be important? Will the handcuffs be important? Guess what? The handcuffs are important.
Is the tiny rock going to be important? Yes,
the tiny rock is important. Yeah. So Jim, if you need other movies to watch while you are recuperating, Here you go.
And then what we could do is we could assign you homework, Jim, as a study, so that you too can decide, if this is worth your time. All right. Here's some just thoughts. I really like seeing Gal Gadot in this movie, and I think Gal Gadot should be in more movies because, and I encourage you to make every single movie that you can for as long as you can, because if your career was a football game, right now your football game is late into the third quarter, and we're rooting for you because the way things work in Hollywood, if you are an attractive woman, you end up having a shelf life of about 5 years, and so. I think you had your first debut as Wonder Woman in one of the, it's not Marvel, what's the other one? DC comic movies. That was in like 2016. So you need to literally stock the shelves with movies. So we're rooting for you. You should be in more stuff because we're hoping that you'll be the next Charlize Theron. So, yeah. And honestly, she had lots to do in this movie, but she was like, again.
She was ornamental.
Yes.
We would be lying if we said she was not.
Correct.
The Rock is, of course, they were all typecast. The Rock is, I'm sorry, Dwayne Johnson is, he's the muscle guy with the heart of gold.
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds is the mouth, which he can run.
Oh my gosh, I know.
And then Gal Gadot is drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, hang on. I'm gonna stop sharing our screen. Hang on. Remove. I did it. Okay, good. Yeah.
Job. Nice.
So overall, I'm not going to tell you not to watch it.
I would, I finished it.
Yeah.
Which means it got a 2.
Okay.
If I don't finish a movie, it gets a 1. And that's out of 1 out of 5. So it got a 2 because I did finish it. And even if we weren't doing this, I would have finished it.
Yeah, I think so.
Just to see if it was going to end exactly the way I thought it was going to end.
Yeah, so, it was like it was an I told you so.
That's why I would miss the Ed Sheeran thing, which I thought was amusing.
Was funny. Yeah.
Not saving, but amusing.
No. So my cat Betty watched the movie with Joe and I pretty much the whole time, and she gave it a 1 out of 4 hairballs. So not great. She didn't love it. No, because sometimes when she's really interested in something on TV, she'll turn around and watch it, but she had butt to the TV pretty much the whole time.
Yeah, unworthy, completely unworthy. So it's if you have Netflix.
Yeah, I would not go out and spend actual money on this. Don't go to a theater and watch this. The being in person will only show its special effects flaws more. So that's not something you're going to want to do.
No. But hey, sometimes you just want to watch something dumb.
Yeah, and honestly, I was tired. End of the week on Friday, I was tired, and honestly, it was something that I looked forward to all day.
I did too, because I had Fridays are my late days, and I didn't get home until like after 8:30, and I was like, I should start winding down. I'm like, no, I'm gonna watch this. I had Dunkin' Make popcorn. I was very excited, and like I said, the first 10 minutes, I was like, oh my gosh, this could be kind of clever and funny.
Yeah,
and it was for 10 minutes.
For 10 minutes, and sometimes.
Oh my gosh, the Italian Job. That's the first thing that caught my eye. I was like, oh my gosh, they're driving all these little cars driving. And it's like really fast. I was like, oh, this is the Italian Job. That was literally the first 10 seconds of the movie.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. There are so few movies that I look forward to. And maybe it's because I'm A, female, and B, over 50 that I don't really have a lot of faith in movies, especially a movie like that, because I just feel like they've all been done, and
I imagine if we had seen some of the Fast and Furious movies, we would have been able to throw some of them in there too. But I think I saw one about a really long time. I saw the first one. Yeah. And I don't remember it other than there was a lot of hot women in it who liked to sleep with guys with fast cars. That's what I got out of that movie.
Yay.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I don't have to worry. I'm not.
And the thing is,
Duncan doesn't have a fast car, so.
The thing is, I'm not biased against action movies. I love action movies. I've seen them all. I'm like, if there's a movie with Jason Statham in it, I'm probably gonna watch it. So. It's not like I have bias against it. I just want something different. And this was not. This did not offer anything,
not even remotely different.
No.
Giant
and
egg,
again.
Giant egg. Really giant egg. That's what you came up with. You know what the treasure should be? Jenny, what do you dream of treasure? Ooh, giant golden egg. I could have come up with something so much better. Tiara, pendant, something cool.
A cool vest that you could wear.
I know, exactly. Visibility cloak. I don't know. We're just workshopping here.
Yeah. just brainstorming about, I don't know, maybe we should make our own movie and just make it every cliche of every action movie ever.
Yes, I don't know. It's already been done. Everybody's gonna be like, oh, it's Red Notice. I'm like, yeah, but we'll have less hot people.
Just regular fat Americans. Because that's what, no one, let's face it, nobody looks like that.
No,
So-
not without a staff. Ugh. Anyway.
So anyway, that was our review of Red Notice. One of those movies that it's like, it's not very good, but if you got nothing better to do on a Friday night, or if you're laid up with after shoulder surgery, why not? Why not?
Exactly. It will.
And
help
again,
if, you're not
if we
in your
save
right
you
mind.
$12 from going to the movie theater, unless you're so desperate to go back to the movies because it makes you feel more normal.
Go see Dune. I mean,
Yeah, because that's a movie that's supposed to be seen on the big screen.
Exactly. We saw it on the little screen, and I was like, oh, I would love to see this again on the big screen. I mean, that was cool looking.
Now, we did not do an official review of Dune, but Anne, would you like to give your official review of Dune?
Well, I hadn't read the book, but I am reading the book right now. So look at me, middle-aged white lady reading Dune. It could happen. It is. I can see if you're a huge fan of the novel, how you would be maybe disappointed in this movie because it has a depth to it and a cerebralness to it that you will never be able to capture on film. I mean, even if you did this as a miniseries, you'll never be able to capture it. So if you're just going to see a classic story of young man taking on his, the world basically, then it's a great story and it's really beautiful to watch. And it has some excellent performances in it. If you want it to be the book, you will be disappointed. But isn't that always true?
Yeah. When was the last time you saw an adaptation of a book that was
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, a movie that was better than the book. Probably Shawshank. But I also remember that Shawshank wasn't, it was a novella, not a novel, but yeah, that's probably the only one I can think of where I thought it was maybe The Green Mile, but again, maybe not.
No, it
No,
was
you're
close,
right.
but Shawshank was probably the only time.
Probably the only one.
Oh, you know what? The first Lord of the Rings, I could not get through that book.
I'm currently rereading The Lord of the Rings, and all I keep thinking as I'm rereading Lord of the Rings.
Bombadil.
Don't even start me on that scene. But no, the only thing I keep thinking about when as I'm reading through, I'm in the Fellowship of the Ring right now, is like, did he not have an editor?
Oh, that's an excellent question.
Because there's so much. I'm like, nobody just thought to tell you that maybe you don't need all this. So, and I love the story, but yeah, I would say the adaptation of the Lord of the Rings from book to movie is better than the book because he just needs editing.
Yeah,
so much editing necessary.
So much editing. So.
Like the scene in Lothlorien in the forest. I'm like, wow, that was so long.
Oh, really? Really? Do we need all the words?
We don't.
Yeah.
We don't need all the
so,
words.
and I'm afraid that I don't think Dune is the same way, though. It is a lot of anyway.
So Dune, yes. Red Notice.
Red. No.
Again, if you got nothing better to do, don't spend money on this. Watch it on Netflix if you have the Netflix because you're getting so much more for your money. Make popcorn.
Have an old fashioned. Or whatever.
Or whatever.
A special brownie.
Special brownie.
Special gummy bear.
Yeah.
Whatever you do.
Yeah. But anyway, like I said, if you've just had shoulder surgery, Red Notice is the movie for you.
Oh, it's totally kind of like wishing I had shoulders.
And honestly, if you just want something pretty to look at all the characters involved, and there is some lovely scenery, like I said, there's a nice island and valley. But again, the set.
A lot of the set was some of it was so lazy. I was just like, I'm like, is that pool in the rainforest? Does that have chlorine in it?
Yeah.
Where's the leeches? Where's the mosquitoes? Anyway.
Yeah. Just wait. There's a comment. We have commentary. Who do we got? We have Monica. Ooh, special brownies. Right on.
I'm glad I was able to reach you.
That would make this movie probably more enjoyable. So, yeah. Anyway, don't pay money to see this movie.
Don't pay money.
So yeah, let me think. What do we got? Shows coming up in the near future. I know we have talked about. Ann and I are going to go see there's a documentary right now about Julia Childs, who's one of my favorites. So we'll be watching and reviewing that.
And I heard an interview with the ladies that created the movie, and they said either eat a really good meal before or a really good meal afterwards because you're going to want to eat.
Nice.
So we should go after.
I think we should as well.
Something before, a little something before,
and a little something,
and then a meal afterwards. Like are really good.
Speaking of cool places, Joe and I, since we've been living in Kalamazoo, so we were living in Dresser, Wisconsin, which is a town of 800 people, and now we live in Kalamazoo, which is a town of more than 800 people. That there's more stuff to do here. So yeah, we just discovered the Green Top Tavern downtown, which is nice because it's a chill vibe and all shapes and sizes. And they make a really good ballpark nachos. So
that sounds so good.
Well, we've been kind of testing all the nachos in town because everybody claims to have the best nachos.
It's a pretty bold statement.
I know. I like the nachos at Burdick's. Joe likes the nachos at Shakespeare. I like the nachos at Burdick's because they put both cheese and chose. So chose, for those of you that don't know, is like cheese sauce, but Joe and I like chose is like the past tense of cheese, like it used to be cheese, and now it's chose. So, but they put both on a nacho, which I believe is like an elevated nacho.
I think that's a game changer, actually. Very good.
So anyway, yeah, go to Burdick's and get some nachos, or go to Shakespeare's and get some nachos. So, but yeah, I think that's our show today.
Okay.
All right.
Nice job, Jenny Brothers.
You too, Ed Brothers. Look at us watching movies and then talking about it.
And then riffing on them like we had anything to do with them. Other than our opinion, which is important.
You know, in this day and age when opinions are facts, it really is important to have an opinion.
It is.
And we have one. We have two. Okay, we're going to leave it on that note because we obviously can't do any better than that because we didn't even plan that.
We didn't.
No. Okay.
Jake's bedroom.
All right, you guys. Thanks for watching our amazing show, and we will be back soon, probably next week or the week after, to talk about more stuff. Dumb, fun stuff. All right, you guys. Peace out.
Bye.